Welcome to the Brave Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Lynn, founder of Sistership Circle and author of Open Your Heart and The Art of Leading Circle. I'm the mother of 2 girls, an 8 on the Enneagram, aka the Challenger, happily married to my business partner, Brent, love connecting with nature, and have put in well over 10,000 hours circling with other women. On this podcast, we will explore how to embody the brave woman so that you can take action on your dreams and desires, unapologetically speak your truth, and live life on your own terms. Grab a seat and a cup of tea, and let's get started.
Hello, everyone. This is a Sistership Circle podcast takeover. I am Tyra Hargrove. I am one of the Sistership Circle facilitators, certified through Sistership Circle. I am also a trainer, and I am just so happy to be here today to interview Tanya. So let's go ahead and get started. Tanya, how are you today?
This is so fun being a guest on my own podcast.
Yes, the Brave Woman podcast. What can we say? So today you get to be brave as usual, Tanya. And I really wanted to share your story. I wanted to come on and be the one to help you share your story around how you got started with Sistership Circle. So let's just go back to the beginning to where this all started.
Yeah, 2010. Well, actually, so 2008, I moved back to my hometown, San Diego, from New York City, and was in what am I going to do with my life? And interestingly, I was 28, so Saturn's return. And in Saturn's return, we are kind of in that confusion of what am I doing with my life?
Yes.
And I remember being inspired by this one networking event that I went to in New York that was like a ladies' luncheon. And it was really connected and really just, it was really powerful. And I said, oh, maybe I can have events like that. And, like, how am I going to meet like-minded friends here? And so it was really the selfish desire to find friends. So I started putting on these events in 2009. And then I met this woman. And actually, I was like, I don't know. It was Women for Wellness.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if this is my thing, because I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York. And so it was like these wellness events, But then I was like, I don't know if I really want to be pigeonholed into wellness. It's more like women's empowerment. And then I met this beautiful woman, Novelina, and we decided to come together and do the very first launch event in January 2010. And we had almost like 70 women show up in this downtown San Diego loft. And we didn't really, I think, know what we were doing. We had some different speakers, but we launched the membership for women to come to monthly gatherings. And we had such just a huge response. Like, everyone was just so into it. And then one of our speakers, we offered her, I think it was like a 6-week circle program. And we didn't call it a circle back then, but it was her program that we were both in, because we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how to lead a program. So we went to, big sister Cindy to come and lead this program for us. But we can be the hostesses for these awesome gatherings. And so we started putting on these events every month. We would do one downtown, and then we would also do one in North County. San Diego is pretty big, and it's like 30-minute drive, from downtown to Encinitas. And so we actually found this gorgeous house. This woman had this mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, and she had an older husband. She was like our age, but she was like, yeah, like, I have this giant empty mansion. Come and use it. Bring feminine energy in here. And so we were doing all these gatherings at this huge mansion. It was pretty epic.
Wow. It sounds like it.
Yeah. And then and these gatherings would be pretty big. And so then one of the women came up to me. She said, "Hey, these are really inspiring and fun, but it'd be really nice if we created a smaller thing." And so that's how the sistership circles began. And so Novelina in her book, The Total Female Package, had a chapter called Sistership. And so,
Mm.
yeah. And so it was about, having those female relationships with one another. And so we started the first sistership circle. And we had no idea what we were doing, but we gathered 12 women to get together for 12 weeks and essentially create a goal that we wanted to accomplish by the end. And then each week we'd be focused on talking about that, brainstorming, kind of masterminding about that goal. But then it was like, we just started doing all these other things like putting a sister in the middle and putting our hands on her and, you know, um, supporting someone outside of the circle.
Mm.
And so then this concept, this idea kind of spread, and we started to then have these other groups of women go through for 12 weeks. But back then I had no idea what I was doing. And that's
Wow.
how I learned how to lead circle, is to not do the things that didn't work. Like letting people have no time limit on their shares. And
Mm.
all of a sudden, someone's sharing for 15 minutes, and then we're way over time, and we still have like 5 people left. And women are like, I got to get home to my kids. So we learned to use a timer. Yeah. So those were the good old days of just winging it and not really knowing what we were doing.
It's interesting because now that I've gone through Sistership Circle, How to
Yeah.
Lead Circle, it's all about getting in there and just doing it. And so
Yeah.
to hear about your messy start, what better way? Just do it. And even in the messiness, look at the greatness that is born. That is amazing. So as you go from leading all of these transformational circles and you're learning how to lead circle, how did it begin to shift and transform? What did this creation become?
Yeah. So I guess we had that period from 2010 to we started actually, Novelina and I went to different cities. So we went up to LA, we went up to the Bay Area. Um, we had a vision of, growing this nationwide.
Okay.
And it was at our LA launch that I think it was about a year later that we decided that we weren't actually going to do this together anymore. So
Okay.
talk about messy,
Wow.
all kinds of different sister wounds and our partnership disintegrating, and it
Hmm.
was really challenging. It,
Okay.
a lot of hurt feelings, and amongst these different circles of women getting their feelings hurt, or two friends coming in and having a fight and then not wanting to be in the circle together, just
Yeah.
so many different things that we were dealing with. But yeah, so then I took it over, I guess, midway through 2011.
Hmm.
And then we had that period of I was in different cities, um and having to kind of train other women in these different cities to take it on.
Hmm.
And then I started my own deep healing journey, and as a result of that, started writing my book. So I was going through my like a deep healing process, going into mother and father wound,
Okay.
writing my book, and then coming out of that in 2014.
Hmm.
And I published my book, and that same month met Brent.
Wow.
And um and so it was like really like a new chapter of we have structure now. So
Okay.
now these circle programs are called the Open Your Heart experience, where we're following the book structure. And now we've actually created this curriculum.
Mhm.
And then it was Brent saying, "Oh, I see what you're doing. You're creating the McDonald's of women's circles."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, I don't know if we want to use the analogy of McDonald's. That's not necessarily what we're going for. They're a little unhealthy, for the spiritual ladies here
Right.
who are all about health and wellness. But yes, you got me, right? And so he
Mhm.
bought like 6 of my books at my book launch
Mm.
for his family, all the women in his family. And um he was so smitten that he was like, "I'll help you. I'll build your
Aw.
website. I'll help you do your launch." So that's really when we went and started building the international brand, and we did our first summit um, in November of 2014, and that's when I offered the first facilitator training,
Wow.
and that wasn't part of the plan. The plan was that we would just I had some different women who were already kind of in the field, and we were just going to lead virtual circles.
Okay.
Well, no one signed up for the virtual circles. But when I put out one email about a facilitator training, my inbox was flooded.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, like there's something here." And so that's when the first the first official facilitator training started December 2014.
Talk about just, I don't know what the word is, but it's synergy,
Yeah.
destiny type moment. And Tanya, I just know how some of the sisters, think when they come in a sistership circle, like no one signed up, but then you just got to keep going. And here you offered a different version, and now we have How to Lead Circle. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was it. I was like, it was like I was brainstorming. It was called Tribe Builder at the
Okay.
time, but then it turned into How to Lead Circle. But it was like I was starting to think about like how would I create this facilitator training? What are some of the things that I need to what wisdom do I need to impart on those who are going to be facilitating? Yeah, and so we started a membership called Sister Tribe.
Okay.
So it was Sister Tribe, and then the very first facilitator training, and so that was 2015. And then I realized that, yeah, I really wanted to. It was 2016 that I said I think my thing is facilitator training. So I think it's time to actually kind of put Sister Tribe to rest, and let's create facilitator tribe. We stepped into How to Lead Circle. The first one was in 2016. And yeah, and then it was time to kind of shift into what is now, what we do now.
So
So that's 9 years. Wait, how many years later? So 2016, we're in,
8.
yeah, 8 years
I think
later.
that's 8. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. So I'm thinking about how you started out leading circles yourself and started to figure things out. Was the tribe part about giving tools to women who were like, "Oh, I want to lead circles," and then it became, "No, I'm looking to just train leaders." Am I hearing you correctly on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I believe I'm here to train leaders.
Okay.
I I'm here to empower the leadership in as many women as I can. And
Mm,
my vehicle to do that is circle facilitation.
yes. Okay.
So it's like that's how the two kind of go hand in hand. But it's about being a leader in your life. And
Okay.
we get to learn these skills by sitting in circle. And
That's
so I get
powerful.
to practice my leadership in the safe container called a circle. But ultimately, it's about me being the leader in my life.
Tanya, that is amazing. Me, as someone who has gone through the training and I am actually a trainer, I get astounded by how women come in and say, I want to lead my own circle. And the outcome is always this woman is better. Like, it doesn't matter how big, how many more circles she leads or, if she has a full on circle business,
Mm.
they look different. They look happier. The post that they made before finishing How to Lead Circle was some of them were a little timid or some of them didn't even really speak their truth. And then afterwards, it's like they look gorgeous, they look empowered, they look so powerful, and they're sharing these powerful messages. So it's so fascinating how people get to come into Sistership Circle thinking they're looking for one thing and they actually find themselves as powerful leaders. That is an amazing vision for women. And then
Mm.
to bring this ancient tool of circle, incredible. So how did it continue to evolve? The early facilitator How to Lead Circle leading to what we have today.
It all came down to this one event
Okay.
called Feminine Uprising Live. And that happened in 2017. And so Brent pretty much had his foot out the door. And he was like, I don't want to do this. This isn't going to make us any money. And he was just, he just didn't, he, I needed to rise up into my
Okay.
leadership, the next level of my leadership.
Mhm.
So while he was like, peace out, I was like, I'm taking the stage. It's
Okay.
time for me to be visible because I would always lead from the back. I like to think of myself as the Wizard of Oz behind the screen, kind of, you know, manipulating the puppets. But it was time for me to reveal myself and step onto center stage. And so I was going to do that at this 3-day live event in San Diego and take the stage. Was that first one? I think the second one I was pregnant. No, I was pregnant at that very first
Wow.
one. It was
Wow.
summer. Yeah. Yes, I was pregnant. And so that was the first event where it was like a declaration of the higher level leadership that I was up to. And
Mm.
so that was the launch of our mastery program. And so it was me coming out as like, here's what I'm here to do. And the introduction to the mastery program. So we had How to Lead Circle and Mastery. And that was really it. And Brent saw it and he was like, I'm back in. Let's create our facilitator path. And
Okay.
he was the one who mapped out this vision of, here's the things that you've done, Tanya. How do we help women to follow your path and create the training programs that help women go from step A to step B to step C? And so in the formation of our facilitator path, it started to bring everything together. And this was the structure then that Brent was helping me build with his beautiful masculine, and allowed me to then really come into my feminine power.
Okay.
Um, and so we started to work that. And then he kept telling me, you gotta write the book. You gotta write the book. Where's the book, Tanya? And so 2019, I started working on the Art of Leading Circle. And
Yes.
then
Okay.
I think, did we launch? Yeah, no, so we launched before COVID. Yeah. So 2019, it came out, and then COVID hit.
Well,
And while the world is saying, "What the heck is going on?" We were already online. So we were literally right in the middle of our launch for How to Lead Circle. We were like, "We got this." Like, everyone's home, everyone's looking for something to do. Come do women's circles.
isn't this amazing how, again, it's just awe-inspiring to hear how this journey has unfolded one little step at a time. And it's like each step is leading to these pivotal moments because there was nothing like professional development, personal development like COVID. And you were ready. And
We
it's
were
made all the
ready.
difference. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think too, Tanya, just to talk a little bit more before we move on about you and Brent, because this is fascinating
Mm.
to know that this is a husband and wife team that is leading, at the helm of this company. Just what are some of the takeaways that you have in terms of the growth of Sistership Circle, having you and Brent working in tandem?
Yeah, it's been hard, but, deeply fulfilling. Sistership Circle would not be where it is today without him
Yeah.
because of the way he was able to. I like to he's my riverbanks, right? And I would
Mm.
be off over here and I would be off over there. And I think most women, are constantly wanting to change their identity and
Mhm.
remake themselves and redo this and, you know, versus Brent's like, no, we're going this way. You're not making these tributaries. You're going down the river. We're going straight. He's keeping me linear. But that is what then allowed us to stay consistent
Okay.
and stay the path and not be making a bunch of changes. And that's what he would always say to me is like, focus over here. If you want to be creative, great. Create outlines within facilitator tribe. Let's stick with what we have. And so that constantly like keeping me focused and keeping
Mhm.
me going in one direction then allowed us to keep doing the same thing over and over again and just keep making it better and have it become known.
Yeah.
And we look at, how to lead circle, we do it in our sleep now.
Mm.
And I'm always amazed that it's like, oh, this still resonates. It hasn't gotten old.
Yeah.
And, that's our fear is that like it'll become outdated or we'll get bored with it. But I never get bored with it.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
trainers don't get bored with it because
Mhm.
it's just such a beautiful it's a beautiful program. So, yeah, so Brent's kept me focused. But then, when we went to Costa Rica in December 2020, he was like, "I'm done. I can't get behind that computer screen anymore. I built you your dream. It's
Mm.
time for me and to do what's next and what I want to do with my life." He's like,
Mhm.
"I want to be a real estate developer, I think. And I want to go and build something with my hands." Because in high school, he actually convinced all his teachers in senior year to let him just do wood shop all day.
Really?
Brent loves to build. He loves to build.
Wow.
So now he gets to do that. And so it was really, really challenging. And it was like, we need to untangle our business relationship so that we can
Okay.
save our marriage.
Yes.
But because we started with a business partnership. Like we were dating and then we got pregnant 3 months
Good
after
point.
meeting and we were already doing business together. So that's kind of all we knew. And
Mhm.
so untangling and letting him out was so hard. And he's
Okay.
like, I don't think you could do this without me. And so
Mm.
then I'm like, I'll show you, buddy.
Of course.
Is that a challenge? And so so then I made it my mission from January 21 to take him out of the business.
Okay.
And there was a moment there when he said, "Oh, I have no idea what you're doing. I have no idea what's going on in Sistership Circle. It's still making money. It's going well." And it was like that moment when we realized that he was removed and that we didn't actually need him. Now, he's had to come in for various things, and I would say he works maybe a couple hours, maybe like 5 hours a month, and
Oh,
helps with tech and, giving advice and consulting. He likes to be the consultant as long as he doesn't have to do anything. But yeah, we've actually freed him up to now work on our retreat center in Costa Rica, which is
wow.
just totally filling him up. He's got 15 guys on the property right now, and he's like, I don't speak Spanish, so I just delegate everything.
Oh,
He's
that's
like, I'm
okay.
loving it. I'm loving delegating. And he's like, yeah, I finally feel like I'm in my genius, because he does all the creative design. He's a designer,
Mhm.
and he's the builder, but he gets to like have these guys be building this vision that he has, which is beautiful.
Brent
Yeah.
the Builder. I love it.
Brent the builder.
Brent the Builder. Yeah. So, yeah, Tanya, I think it would be interesting to
Mm,
also hear a little bit about you talked about your books. So, what are your books again, just to make sure we're
yeah.
keeping up with the stepping stones, but also the programs. What are the paths? And I know there's been some variations, but we could just, if you want, just talk about what we have now in Sistership Circle.
We have so much. We have so much. And that's, I think, what's had us become so successful, and financially viable as a company, is because we have a lot of different revenue streams. We've got our programs, we've got our products, we've got our funnels. And that's all, again, because of Brent. And,
Mm,
pushing me to create these different products, and then he would create the funnel for it. And so it started with the Open Your Heart book. And then we've got the Art of Leading Circle book and startup kit, and kind of go together. And then we have the ritual handbooks. So we got
yes.
one for each season, which are collaborative books, but are just, to me, like a work of art. Um, so those are all the books that we have. Then we have hundreds of outlines.
Yes.
We've got archetype activations, we've got meditations, we've got all different types of products. And then for our programs, we've got starting with How to Lead Circle.
Mhm.
And then the next step, level 2, is Medicine of Circle, which used to be Business of Circle. So we've retired Business of Circle to just be a video course that you can, take on your own. And then Mastery.
So
Uh,
Medicine of Circle is what? What program is that?
yeah, so Medicine of Circle is, so in the path, step 1 is start your first gathering, your
Yeah.
monthly gathering. And then once you have your gatherings going, you're starting to build, a little bit of community. Then you're offering a circle program. So like I did back in the day with Open Your Heart, a
Yes.
12-week circle program. So Medicine of Circle is helping you understand what it is that's your medicine, right? And putting that into a 12-week circle journey program.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Mastery is really the advanced facilitation skills, the advanced leadership distinctions, the really going deep within yourself so that you can hold the deeper space for
Yeah.
transformation. So it's like Medicine of Circles helping you kind of get clear on what your medicine is, but it's more of like the structure of putting the thing together. And then Mastery. So really those two go together. Mastery is like, who do you need to be to actually
Okay.
lead that program? Yeah.
Beautiful. And here lately, I have been hearing you talk about the feminine freedom method too. Where does that fit within everything?
Yeah. So in How to Lead Circle, at all our programs, we do a 15-minute hot seat. And so we've developed this methodology that goes back to when I was on that healing journey back in
Mm.
2014. And my late mentor, Barry Green, took me through father wound, mother wound. But, I took that. He trained me. We led programs and retreats together back in the day. Um, he co-led a retreat in Peru with me. I was
Wow.
pregnant. Yeah, Brent came. Yeah. And so he essentially passed on some of his legacy to me, but then I really made it my own and, tailoring it to women. And so we then are training women how to do that, how to create 15-minute hot seats, how to incorporate
Mm.
circle and coaching together. And so that is, yeah, you can learn the feminine freedom method, what we do to coach women in our programs.
It's amazing. I remember I was the first one on the hot seat, the love seat in How to Lead Circle.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know what this coaching method is, but I've got to learn it. So it's amazing what you have created through your own healing journey, and it's really just such an amazing just to see how what you went through has now become the process that you've created to take other women through
Mm,
to create these women who are leaders of their own lives and also within the community. And just as we get close to wrapping things up, Tanya, you mentioned this word consistency. What
mm.
what is it about consistency? What keeps you coming? What keeps you on this path? And I would love to hear in terms of what you love about your business as well as your vision for Sistership Circle for the women, in the collective.
Yeah. Comes down to my strong why, like why I do this work and my dharma, my soul's dharma to shift the consciousness of women. And then to see the results of that keeps me
Mm,
going. Like I know I'm on the right path. But there's like this, I think it's part of my human design. There's this piece around doubt and truth. And like the city, I think, is truth. And I think sometimes we just doubt. And
mm,
I remember at some point, like I just couldn't doubt it anymore. Like this is my truth. And so I'm just gonna stay committed and I would say devoted to this truth. And the self-doubt, the doubt in the thing is what then has us trying to like reinvent the wheel a million times. It was like, no, this is the truth. This works. Women's circles, 1 million circles, like it has to happen. And it might not happen in my lifetime, but this is what I'm here to do.
mm,
And then to see all like other facilitator trainings popping up all over the place. I just saw some other new one out. Not competition. Doesn't
mm,
mean that I have to throw in the towel. Doesn't mean that it's gonna, become outdated because it's like, no, we're up to 1 million circles. We still got a lot of work to do. This is still not a household name. So that is really the driver for me to keep me just devoted
mm,
to
mm,
like I've got to train as many women as possible.
mm. Oh, thank you, Tanya. We thank you for sticking with your Dharma, going through with the Dharma, following that path, and remaining committed and devoted. It has been so wonderful hearing from you today, talking about your journey from the beginning to where we are now, and even a little bit of the vision beyond. So thank you so much, Tanya, for allowing me to do a Brave Woman podcast takeover.
Oh my
So we
god.
could get
So good.
all the details on your life. Is there anything that you want to share before we end today?
Oh, this is great having you drawing things out, reminding me of things that I might have forgotten. And yeah, it's just such an honor having you be part of
Oh,
this. You've just been, yeah, you're part of the inspiration for me.
oh, thank you,
Just the
Tanya.
way in which you just keep doing the work and your devotion to the mission as well. So we're in this together. We're doing this together. That's what keeps me going. I'm not alone. So
Yes,
thanks, Tyra, for all that you
you.
do and for interviewing me today.
You're so welcome. And thank you to everyone who has joined us today and is listening. We will talk to you again soon.
you just listened to this show, I'd love for you to leave the Brave Woman podcast an honest review. Reviews help podcasts like this one grow, making it more possible for me to devote my time, energy, and money to its production. If you take a screenshot of your review and email it to support@sistershipcircle.com, we'll send you one of our archetype activations as a thank you gift. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Up next, we're going to get witchy next week with Mia Magic as she teaches us all about the law of correspondence, using our intuition and releasing rage.